All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down the story of Alex Hormozi. And we're not just talking about the business tactics that built a $100 million portfolio. No, we're talking about the raw human journey from the absolute peak of misery to the top of his game. This is way more than a playbook. It's a real story of transformation.
So this is where we're going to start, with a quote that just hits you, right? It tells you everything you need to know. This is not your typical success story. This was his actual, real state of mind. But here's the crazy part, the part that really grabs you. He didn't feel this way when he was broke and failing. He felt this way when, on the outside, he had already won. And that paradox? That's the key to understanding his entire journey.
Yeah, he actually has a name for this. He calls it a rock top bottom. Just picture that for a sec. You've climbed this huge mountain, everyone's cheering for you, but you look around and realize you never even wanted to be there in the first place. And looking down, it's just a void.
I mean, look at this. It's the classic I made it checklist, right? He's only 22. He's got the fancy consulting job, the new condo, and this is the big one. He'd finally made his dad proud. He was living the dream, except it wasn't his dream. And that little detail, it was literally killing him inside.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? This wasn't just about quitting a job. No way. This was about looking the person whose approval you've wanted your whole life in the eye and choosing yourself. He had to choose his own survival. And making that choice, man, that had to be the toughest thing he'd ever done.
So, okay, he does it. He takes the plunge. He quits that cushy job to open his own gym. And you'd think that's the hard part, right? Well, it's like the universe said, oh, you think that was hard? Watch this.
So he actually has some success at first. He builds up his gyms, sells them. Things are looking up. And then, bam, it all comes crashing down. He sinks all his cash into a new venture, and his partner just takes it all, steals everything. And this when you think it can't get any worse, the payment processor freezes what little money he has left. I mean, gone. Everything. Poof.
And this is it. This is all he had left. $1,000. That's it. From a successful business owner with 6 locations to this. He actually took a screenshot of his bank account, kind of like a digital monument to hitting absolute rock bottom. So let's just paint the picture here. He's completely broke. He's sleeping in his girlfriend Layla's parents' spare room. He feels like an absolute failure. And he turns to Layla, who, by the way, had quit her own job for him, and basically says, "You should leave me. I'm a sinking ship. Get out while you can." But she doesn't leave. Instead, she says this, and man, this one sentence, this is the turning point of the whole story. It became his anchor. Just having one person believe in him that much, that was all the fuel he needed to get back in the fight. And that fight, well, it led him to his single greatest business breakthrough. It was born out of pure, raw desperation. He knew he couldn't just do the same old thing. He had to invent a whole new way to play the game.
So he started asking a completely different question. It wasn't, how do I get better at selling? It was, how can I make what I'm offering so unbelievably good that people would feel like idiots for saying no?
And that became his whole philosophy. He calls it the Grand Slam offer. And look, this isn't about slick sales scripts or persuasion tricks. No, it's about fundamentally re-engineering the thing you sell so its value is just undeniable.
And he actually broke it down into this simple but genius equation. To make your offer a grand slam, you got to crank up the top 2 things. Make the dream outcome bigger and better, and make people truly believe they can get there. At the same time, you have to crush the bottom 2. Make it happen way faster, and make it require way less effort and sacrifice. This simple formula, this is the engine that powers his entire $100 million portfolio. It's everything.
Okay, so he's figured out the offer. It's a game changer. But now, what's the next problem? Scale. How do you take this amazing thing and get it to more people without burning yourself out? He needed a way to get more done with less work. He needed leverage.
And I love this quote from him because it just sums it up perfectly. It's not about working harder or running faster. It's about making each step you take count for 10, 100, or even 1,000 times more.
And he breaks leverage down into 4 main types. Think of them like levels in a video game. You start with labor. That's hiring people. Then you level up to media. You make one video and it works for you forever. Then comes capital, using other people's money to grow. And the final boss? Code, building software that can serve millions of people while you sleep. His whole career has been about mastering and stacking these levers.
But here's the thing. This isn't just some interesting story about one guy. His whole framework is a blueprint,
and it's built on a really deep insight into what actually makes us, as humans, take action. And that's something any of us can use.
You know, we always hear, follow your passion, right? That's moving towards pleasure. But Hormozi makes this incredible point that moving away from pain is usually a way, way more powerful motivator. That feeling of, I cannot stand this for one more day. He says if you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you're in pain, good, use it. Don't let that energy go to waste. Turn it into fuel.
So at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Real change, it happens at a tipping point. It's that moment when the misery of just staying where you are becomes greater than the fear of what might happen if you change. That's it. That's when jumping isn't just an option anymore. It becomes necessary.
And what's so powerful is that his confidence didn't come from knowing he would succeed. He had no idea if it would work. His confidence came from knowing, without a doubt, that he wasn't going to stop. He couldn't control the outcome, right? But he could control his refusal to quit.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. What Alex Hormozi's story really shows us is that our lowest moments, our biggest pains, they don't have to be the end. They can be the beginning. They can be rocket fuel. So the real question isn't, do you have pain in your life? We all do. The question is, what are you going to build with it?